Here, lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Anna. Hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The former basketball player who appeared on Jen Tran's season of The Bachelorette will have the power of the flower in his hands as the new lead of The Bachelor when season 29 premieres on Sept 18. Ellis was announced as the upcoming star of ABC's reality dating show on OG 12 following his elimination during Tran's rose ceremony. He marks the franchise's second Black Bachelor, with Matt James being the first. The timing of Ellis's elimination came just before hometowns, and soon after he told Tran he was falling in love with her. "I poured everything out and it wasn't good enough," he told the cameras. "It just sucks knowing that you feel some way about somebody and they don't feel the same about you." Now, Ellis is ready to start a new chapter when his season of The Bachelor begins. Ellis is eager to embark on a journey filled with romance, adventure, and genuine connections, ABC said in a statement. He hopes to find a partner who shares his values of loyalty, humor, and a deep appreciation for life's simple pleasures. Read on to learn more about the new Bachelor, Grant Ellis Krant. Ellis is a New Jersey native who was raised in Newark, though he currently lives in Houston. He attended Iona College, where he doubled as a student athlete. While at Iona College, Ellis played on the school's basketball team as a guard and forward. He also played for Southern University and Albertus Magnus College. Following his run as a student athlete, Ellis went on to play for the pros overseas. Per Business Insider, he spent time in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and the Dominican Republic. Ellis's days as a pro basketball player came to an end due to an unspecified injury, causing him to pivot his focus to a career in finance instead. "When life knocks you down, you have to be able to pivot," he previously said on The Bachelorette. "So I ended up getting into the finance field," he continued, "and then it's been off to the races from there." Now, Ellis works as a day trader. While he's passionate about his new career, his ABC Bachelor bio says he loves watching the Lakers, going bowling, and singing his heart out at karaoke when he isn't hustling at his job. Ellis made his debut on the ABC dating reality competition when he appeared as a contestant on Jen Tran's season of The Bachelorette. He was named lead of the upcoming season of The Bachelor soon after his elimination in August 2024. In his final episode, Ellis shared with Tran that he was falling in love with her and revealed that he wants a family of his own. "I want to be happy, I want a wife, I want to be in love," he said during his farewell. "I want that, he continued. "I want to give everything to somebody, and I want them to give everything to me in return. I don't know what else to say. I did not think that was going to happen tonight." Upon being announced the new Bachelor, Ellis gave fans a glimpse of the type of person he's looking for in a lifelong partner. "I'm looking for a love that's kind and understanding," he said in a video shared on Instagram. "Some qualities that I'm looking for in a potential partner is somebody who is adventurous, somebody who is affectionate, and somebody who is loving," he wrote. "I can't wait for this incredible journey to kick off. It's going to be so fun. I hope you guys tune in." Grant Ellis and Juliana Pascarosa have once again found themselves at the center of split rumors thanks to his recent Instagram activity. Days after the two returned home from a trip to Aruba with Pascarosa's family, Ellis shared some cryptic messages that left fans confused. In addition to a head-scratching post on his main feed, Ellis did an Instagram Q&A on Monday, June 10, and gave some questionable answers for someone who's engaged. In his grid post, Ellis shared a series of 3 photos that appeared to show him back in Houston with the caption, "Home is where the heart is." Considering he's been open about his plans to move to Boston to be with Pascarosa after The Bachelor, this sparked some debate in the comments section. "We thought Boston was going to be your new home. Where is Juliana?" one person commented, while another wrote, "Sue, are you still engaged?" During a recent interview, the couple said they were planning on starting to look at places in Boston together in mid-June, and previously shared that Ellis was going to keep his place in Houston, so it's not all that concerning. However, his Instagram story Q&A added to fan suspicion when one person asked, "How is your heart?" Ellis responded, "Almost healed." Of course, he could be referring to all of the other drama that took place at the end of his Bachelor season, but still an interesting response for someone who's supposedly in a happy relationship. Then someone else asked, "Do you have nice feet?" And Ellis answered, "Hell no, I played basketball for 18 years. I try, though. But someone going to love me with my crazy feet and all." Definitely an eyebrow-raising response from someone who supposedly already found that person. Ellis and Pascarosa got engaged while filming The Bachelor Season 29 in the fall of 2024. They went public with their romance after the finale aired in March and have mostly kept a low profile since then. Because of their lack of social media posts together, fans have speculated that they've broken up on a number of occasions. Even in her photo dump from the Aruba trip, Pascarosa buried one photo with Ellis among a series of other vacation shots. "Very little of you and Grant. You seem like you aren't feeling the relationship so much," someone pointed out in the comments, while another person wrote, "Hardly any pictures with you and Grant." Grant Ellis found love during Monday's Bachelor finale, but only one woman received a proposal, Juliana Pascarosa. As a result, it was venture capitalist Litia Gar who left as the season 29 runner-up. Litia, 31, received an "I love you" from Grant, 31, during their fantasy suite date in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. But he says his heart ultimately belonged to Juliana, 28. That was the hardest thing, but ultimately it was the best thing for Lydia. The former professional basketball player tells People in this week's issue in a joint interview with Juliana, "For me to be in a relationship where somebody may be loving me, but I'm not receiving it the way that I want or the way that I need, it would be unfair to that person." In the March 24 finale, Litia confessed her feelings for Grant and said she was in love with him. She also told him she saw herself having a family with him one day, but Grant had to break the news that he was going in a different direction, telling her, "I love you very much. I want to give you everything that you deserve, but I'm not your person. And I'm sorry that it got to this point. My emotional connection is stronger someone else." Lydia said she was disappointed by the news and snapped back at Grant, "You're different than I thought." Reflecting on the difficult moment, Grant admits it was hard letting Lydia down, and the pressure of doing so led to him feeling torn, right up to the very end. You meet somebody's family, you spend time with somebody, you hear their story, and then you have to tell them on what's supposed to be the biggest day of their life that they're not your person, he explains. That's what caused me to have a little bit of stress, a little bit of confusion on how to do this. I don't feel like I misled. I feel like I led with my heart, Grant adds about expressing his feelings for Litia earlier in the season. "I feel like it would be misleading if I made promises, but I expressed my feelings, which I do every day. I've been in those shoes, so I know where she's coming from, and I'll always come from a place of compassion. I definitely cared, and I definitely did have those feelings, but ultimately, Juliana is my person," he says. "Sometimes the hardest things come out with the best reward." Juliana was always aware of Grant's connection with Lydia and knew there was a chance she wouldn't be selected. "I did feel so strong, but I also was aware that there was another girl involved," she says of the process. "She must feel as secure as I do to stay in it this long. It was nervousness from my end, but I also just felt so secure that I was like, it's a 50-50 chance here." Watching the show revealed to the client services associate that Grant and Lydia had an undeniable connection, but that it differed from her own. "Litia is such an amazing person. I think it just comes down to what type of life you wanted to live afterwards," Juliana explains. "I know Litia's time frame for settling down is different than mine was, but it's comparison by circumstance. That doesn't take anything away from me, and I hope that that doesn't take anything away from her. I can understand there being love there for her and love there for me, but I think it's just two different types of love," she adds. Grant promises that he gave this journey everything I could and couldn't be happier with his final decision. This relationship is something that's for me, and ultimately that led to my decision and my clarity, he says about his experience on the show. When you're the Bachelor, and more extensively when you're the second Black Bachelor ever, there are some extenuating circumstances that play a role. I did what made me happy, not what was going to make anybody else happy, not what was going to make my dad happy, or my mom happy, or my sister or my aunt, anybody, he adds. I did what was going to make me happy. You just needed some time to get there, Juliana chimes in, as Grant confirms he just needed some time to get there. The Bachelor's Grant Ellis made his final choice when he decided Juliana Pasquarosa was better suited to be his wife than runner-up Lytia Gar, but I think there are clues that Grant regrets his decision. Grant, a former pro basketball player, was named as the lead for The Bachelor Season 29 after he appeared on Jen Tran's season of The Bachelorette in 2024. Grant's good looks and charm kept him on the producer's radar, and when they chose him as the next Bachelor, it seemed like a slam dunk for Grant. It was down to Juliana and Lytia in the end, and while it seemed like Grant would choose Lydia, Grant threw a curveball when he told Lydia he wasn't her person during the finale. Lydia was stunned by Grant's choice, since he'd been saying all along that he saw a future with her. He even told Lydia he loved her, before he said that to any of the others. Now that the dust is settled and Grant and Juliana have been on the press circuit, I think there are clues that Grant regrets his decision and should have chosen Lydia. After the finale aired, fans online pointed out that Grant's sister, Taylor Ellis, didn't look very happy sitting in the audience of the show with her parents. Taylor made some appearances on the show, famously showing up during the first episode to let the other women know she was very protective of her brother. Sitting in the audience, sandwiched by her mom, Renee, and dad, Robert, Taylor couldn't seem to hide her disappointment in Grant's choice. Fans also pointed out that until recently, Taylor didn't follow Juliana on Instagram, but she did follow Lytia. As of this writing, Grant's sister has unfollowed Lytia and now follows Juliana. But it does raise questions about whether Taylor approves of her brother marrying Juliana. Taylor's sour face during the reunion did not help the questioning, but Grant set the record straight when he told US Weekly that that's just the way his sister looks. It seems like Grant's playing defense on his sister's scowl during the finale, and I really wish someone would get Taylor's thoughts on Juliana. Of course, Taylor is going to publicly support her brother, but I'm curious what she really thinks of how this all went down and whether she thinks Grant made the right decision in choosing Juliana. Taylor might be more sympathetic to Lytia, since Grant did her a little dirty in the end. Grant had a strong connection with runner-up Lytia, even telling her that she was going to be his choice as the finale approached. It was such a strong connection that Lytia has accused Grant of leading her on and then blindsiding her by choosing Juliana. In an interview posted by Entertainment Tonight, Grant looks visibly uncomfortable while discussing the finale with his fiancée, Juliana, by his side. Somehow, Grant convinced Juliana not to watch the finale, and Juliana seemed okay with it. From what I heard, he handled himself very well, she told the interviewer. Grant sits next to her with a strained look on his face. No wonder this is a very awkward conversation to have with your new fiancé. Like a lot of seasons of The Bachelor, there are bound to be hurt feelings when the choice is finally made. A show about one person dating multiple others is designed to create conflict and drama, but usually as the season progresses, a clear frontrunner will emerge. On Grant's season, he seemed conflicted up to the very end. Grant has claimed in interviews that he has said all he needed to say to Lytia, but I beg to differ, even though Grant and Lytia had a chance to talk at the finale. I think Grant weaseled his way out of answering some of the tougher questions, such as why he told Lytia the night before the finale that she was his choice. I'd love for someone to sit Grant, Lytia, and Juliana down so they can all face the questions everyone wants to ask. Juliana hails from Boston, and Grant currently lives in Houston. After getting engaged, like all couples, the two need to decide where they're going to settle down. In an interview posted by People, Grant and Juliana say they'll move to Boston, but Grant doesn't exactly make a strong commitment to the idea. So they're moving to Boston, but Grant said he's only going to be there for a while, and he's keeping his Houston home. That doesn't exactly scream settling down. In fact, Grant seems like he's choosing his words carefully to avoid saying he'll be moving there to settle down with Juliana full-time. Grant's final two choices are very different women. Juliana is carefree and bubbly, and she seems to accept Grant for who he is at this moment. She didn't even watch the finale, at Grant's request, because she trusted him to make the right decision. This proves that Juliana is the easier choice for Grant, since she doesn't challenge him about not watching the finale. Lydia, on the other hand, is a little older than Juliana. Lydia was clear from the beginning that she wants to have a baby in the next 2 years, which probably scared Grant. I'm not saying either woman is better than the other. It's just that Grant chose the person he felt was the safer bet. Juliana is willing to let Grant go with the flow and see where life takes them, while Lydia wanted a partner who could rise to her level. She thought she found that in Grant, but it turns out Grant wasn't the person she thought he was. Too bad there isn't going to be a season of The Bachelorette this year. Because I'd love if Lydia had the chance to find love on another show. We're wrapping up here for today, but the excitement of trending gossip doesn't stop here. We'll be back with new surprises very soon, so stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe.